From a $6.4 million luxury yacht to millions of dollars in fines. These are the dumbest things tennis players have spent millions of dollars on. And first is probably the most humble player of all time. Did you know that Roger Federer has actually spent over $1 million on his car collection? The Fed Express actually owns some pretty sick rides, like a 2012 SL AMG Roadster, which cost him around $250,000. He also owns a Mercedes AMG GT, a Mercedes AMG G63, a Mercedes AMG GLE 63S, and so many more. I guess when you've earned $1.1 billion throughout your career, you can kinda splurge a bit. But this next guy, he not only lives in style, but also yachts in style. Rafael Nadal spent a whopping $6.4 million on a luxury yacht. Because, living on an island in the Mediterranean just isn't good enough for some of us. This thing's got everything. He's got his own bar, barbecue area, ping pong table, 4 cabins, 8 beds. It even has a garage for his jet skis. Damn! Rafa really knows how to ball out. But something else that Rafa balls out on will blow your mind. He has a $10 million luxury watch collection. I mean, come on, man. Rafa has some of the most expensive Richard Milles in the world. He's got the RM2701 worth around $1.7 million. The RM27, that's worth around $1.6 million. An RM2704 worth a staggering $2.1 million, and so many others. It's kinda crazy to think of how much money he has in his watch collection. But when you're talking about ballin' out, you can't go past this next guy who has reportedly made more than $130 million. Damn, that's a lot of money. Novak Djokovic has made so much money that I wouldn't be surprised if he's still trying to figure out what to do with it all. But one thing he did decide to do with it was to create a few restaurants. Novak was behind a chain of restaurants called Novak Cafe and Restaurant. Jeez, for someone who's made all that money, you think there would be a little more creativity in the name. But either way, Novak decided to also open up a vegan restaurant in Monte Carlo, which turned out to be a pretty dumb decision, mainly because it got shut down not long after being open. What a waste of money. Now, I don't know if he's trying to compete with Rafa, but Novak also copped himself a Manhattan 60, which is a $2.5 million luxury yacht. This thing's got everything you could ever want while on the water. But what happens when you're on land? Well, you need to have a few exotic cars, right? Novak has spent over $1 million on his car collection. He owns a Tesla Model X, Aston Martin DB9, Bentley GT Coupe, Bentley Continental GT, and so many more. That's also not mentioning anything about his collection of watches, which is valued at over $1 million. Damn, Novak's got everything. But hey, you know someone who could have a lot more but doesn't? Novak's best friend, bad boy Nick Kyrgios. This guy's spent almost $1 million on just fines. How crazy is that? If we had an award for spending millions on the dumbest things, Nick would win. From spitting at an umpire, to losing his cool on the court and destroying his rackets, to even going crazy at fans. Nick has a reputation of just going wild. And because of this, Nick has paid a dumb amount of money on fines. He even got fined $113,000 in just one tournament. Now that's gotta be some kind of record. Then, back in 2019, Nick's life changed forever. Nick was having a joyride with his friend in his $300,000 black Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. But things took a turn for the worse when they smashed into a power pole and totally destroyed his car. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but I bet he regrets spending that much money on the car now though. You know, one thing he probably doesn't regret: spending close to $100,000 on a night out in London. After one of his many losses to Novak, Nick decided he needed to let off some steam, and boy did he. Bottles, girls, and who knows what else. He wasn't holding back. That's one damn expensive night out on the town. So from one hothead to another. Did you know that Andy Murray has reportedly made around $64 million in his career? But let's take it back to when he first started making money. He bought himself a Ferrari F430 worth around $200,000. But you want to know the dumbest part? He then paid another $100,000 on top just for the insurance. That's damn expensive for insurance. But even dumber than that is that he's created two separate autobiographies that cost him upwards of $250,000 to produce. This next tennis star knows all about dumb decisions. Serena Williams played against Kim Clijsters at the 2009 US Open semifinals. On a second serve during the match, the line judge called a foot fault, which caused Serena to lose the match, and she was pissed. She ended up going off at the referees to the point where they were genuinely scared and felt threatened. This one moment cost her a whopping $82,000 in fines. Now, Serena has paid a stupid amount of money on fines, but Serena doesn't care about that. You know why? Because not only does Serena have like $200 million of real estate, she also had one of the most expensive weddings of all time. Back in 2017, she spent $1 million just on the wedding. But get this, she then spent a whopping $3.5 million on the wedding dress, making it the most expensive wedding dress in history. But if you had the most expensive wedding dress in history, you ain't flying coach, are ya? So this next purchase she made was totally necessary, but stupid. Serena bought herself a $20 million private jet. So, I guess if you're gonna dress in style, you gotta fly in style. And if you're gonna fly in style, you know you gotta ride in style. So that's why when Serena owns a $20 million jet, you just know she's gonna cop a few cars. Over $1 million worth. From a Jeep Wrangler to a Bentley Continental GT. Serena sure knows how to move in style. Safe to say, she has definitely spent millions on some of the dumbest things. But yet again, so has this guy. Nadal's not only got his $6.4 million yacht I mentioned before, a beautiful $4 million home in Spain, or $10 million in watches. Nah, he's also got over $1 million worth of cars. He's got a few cars, like the Aston Martin DBS, Ferrari 458, Range Rover SVR, and so many more. So, what is something none of the players in today's video have? This last item, this isn't really a purchase, but more the fact it's just something that's so dumb. One of the people in our video today would buy it if they could, and that's the Proximus Diamond Game Prize Racket. This medal is awarded to a female tennis player after winning 3 singles titles in 5 years. And the reason it's in the video? Well, mainly because it features more than 1,700 diamonds and is currently estimated to be worth around $1.3 million. Totally stupid if you ask me. So, from millions of dollars in fines to $6.4 million yachts, those were the dumbest things tennis players have spent millions of dollars on.